I'm seriously working on it because I also have to go there for a personal matter anyway.
Well, that's fine. Some people come here before for their interviews first, and then they follow up with the first aid certification after. Either order is fine, really.
Okay, good. I didn't want to have to put y'all in a tight situation.
Okay, so just so you're aware, you're interviewing for the Los Santos Security Administration. This department is under the purview of the Los Santos Mayor's Office, and it's tasked with the responsibility of assessing, developing, and enforcing security protocols at government facilities. So this could be City Hall, this could be Pillbox, this could be the DMV, any government building that is located here in the city. For work,
Alrighty.
you'll be
Yeah.
asked to have a firearm. This is the firearm that you use for work, so you must have it registered with the LSSD so that way if it's ever used in an incident, they can separate your weapon from any opposing weapons.
Alrighty. Yeah. Okay. So I still need to go get a gun, but I will do that.
Mm-hmm. Upon officially joining the LSSA, all security personnel are photographed and fingerprinted with the LSSD. But this is not until after a 1 week probationary period.
Okay.
All right, so if all that is satisfactory, I want to start with asking some general questions like what type of experience do you have in security?
Okay. So as far as professional goes, not really anything. I mean, I've kicked someone out a time or two in the Black Lantern. I also worked there, but like if need be, I'd have to kick someone out of there. And then also, I've just grown up with a ton of siblings, 17 to be exact. Well, there's 17 of us. So I had to, I'm one of the older ones, so I had to stick up for my little siblings and stuff like that all the time. And I felt like I was defending them and figured I could dish some of that to you guys, you know?
Okay, so by not really, like, no professional workplace setting security experience.
No professional, no.
Okay, are you familiar with what security personnel does?
Well, I mean, I've heard keeping people off the premises if they aren't welcome.
Uh huh.
Also, handing out some because I've seen Alec do it because he also works here.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him hand people some papers if like they're coming in for like a meeting and they're a part of the meeting.
Okay, so typically it would be like enforced policy, so those signs that you see on the front of the building. So, like, let's say you came in here with the helmet and it was like mask down, we couldn't see your face at all. It would be your job to say, hey, so you can't wear a helmet or a mask in City Hall, can you remove it? It would be your job to search people upon entry to make sure they don't have any contraband or weapons or they're not like riding motorcycles or skates in here.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so like
So,
enforcement of policies, conflict de escalation, access control, like letting them know which areas of City Hall they can have access to, and if they needed to be escorted to an office or an area for a meeting, then it's your job to get them to that area safely. So that way that you don't just let them into the stairwell and then they're free to roam City Hall. You'd also be responsible for routine patrols, so beyond standing at the entryway checking everyone that comes into the building, it would also be your job to do surveillance around the perimeter. Routine patrols looking for any possible or potential risks to the building. Emergency response in case of an emergency, so if there was a threat or medical incident or fire, you're one of the first people to respond and ensure the safety of everyone inside the building and collaborate with law enforcement for ensuring the safety.
alrighty, yeah, that sounds. I think I can do that. That sounds up my alley.
Okay. So, are you familiar with the 5 levels of force?
I personally am not, but I will. I'm not opposed to knowing at the moment.
Alright, so for the 5 levels of force, it's presence. Simply being visible here, people can see that we have security on duty. That is a deterrence for crime. Then it would be verbal commands, de escalation techniques. You give clear, firm, lawful instructions for compliance. After that, it's open hand and hand to hand, physical restraint compliance techniques, such as grabbing or escorting people off the premises when verbal commands fail. Then you escalate to less lethal force, which could include the use of batons and pepper spray if someone is posing an active, significant threat and open hand to hand combat fails. And then it's the use of lethal force, deadly force. So, when would you say is a proper time to use lethal force?
If they're not cooperating, the first few warnings I give them. If I've already had to use force and they're still not complying, I mean, then it would escalate to lethal force.
No, see, that's where the use of force matrix comes in handy. So if you have someone that is, let's say they're standing by the mailbox, they're refusing to leave, even though they've been belligerent, and then they want to go over there and send a letter. We've been threatened, we want them to leave. You can't escalate to lethal force because they've been verbally rude. They haven't physically assaulted anyone, they're refusing to leave the building. So you're still at verbal commands. You're still at open hand to hand. You do not escalate to lethal force because that's the use of a gun. You can't shoot somebody for not leaving the premises.
Right.
You escalate, you respond with the level of force based on what they're giving you. So if somebody is hitting you, that's when you escalate to less lethal force, your pepper spray or baton. If they pull out a gun or bat, that's when you escalate to lethal force. So I think the police are taught this as well, like you kind of like one up whatever you're given. So that way you can always maintain command and control of the situation.
Alrighty.
Okay, so since you have not had any kind of security training, you haven't been trained on how to search anyone.
I mean, I know I have to ask them to put their hands up, but that's as far as I know. I mean, I've been searched a time or two because of for events.
Okay. And when would you search someone that's entering City Hall?
I think I would search them like right out the door.
Yeah, so if they're coming in and they want to ask a question at the desk, we're pretty lax on that, even though it is protocol, you do search them. But once they want to step further into the building, they want to move behind that desk, they're definitely subject to search. You're essentially not supposed to let them in the building without being searched because they could have anything on them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So make sure that they are not. That they can come in here and be chill, but as soon as they go past the desk, that's a place of no return.
Yeah, so when they come in, we'll ask them what would they like, what do they need. If they say, "Hi, I'm here for a meeting," then yeah, I would need to search you. Or if I'm here to go to the city council meeting, yes, I would need to search you. Once they have a request that takes them beyond the desk. Or if you notice that they're here for an extended period of time, you can ask them for a search then too. Because it's clear that their business is not going to conclude quickly. And for the safety of everyone inside the building, we need to ensure that they're not carrying anything that could be a risk to anyone's health.
Okay.
Okay, so upon searching someone, would you say that you are extensively searching? So you're looking for like guns, drugs, any hidden contraband that they may have in their pockets? or are you giving them a frisk?
I'm absolutely searching every single pocket they got on them because well, whatever they but this is a legal building, so not that buildings can be illegal. I mean like this is a legal like a place where legislation happens. I want to make sure that people aren't bringing in anything that isn't supposed to be allowed in here. You know, like that goes for drugs, guns, knives, baseball bats, something that could harm someone in any way, shape, or fashion. I'm searching everything.
And I see a full search may be infringing upon someone's rights. But what you can do without infringing upon someone's rights is frisk. So unless a higher personnel officer gives you the authority to do a full and extensive search, you are frisking them, which means you're giving them a pat down. You're looking for like bulges. So like if you a knife, like you said, you'd feel that it has like a sharp end. A bat, it's a long blunt object. A gun, you can feel that as well. So frisks infringe on nobody's rights, and everybody that enters the building is subject to frisking.
Okay, alrighty.
Yeah, so unless Alec gives you any new commands, because he is the head of the LSSA, you are only to frisk.
That makes sense to me.
Okay. So
Tell you what, I'm learning a lot of things in here I didn't know about.
I know, me too. I've done a few of these security interviews. So yeah, we talked about 5 levels of force. If you have someone that's not leaving, they're being really belligerent. So would you say a security officer has the right to detain or arrest?
I'm so sorry. I had something in my ear. Can you repeat that, please?
So remember where we gave you the example with the 5 levels of force, and you had the individual who was over at the mailboxes. They were just belligerent with some city hall staff. They're refusing to leave until they've concluded their business. Would you say that you have the right to detain that person or arrest that person?
Well, I'm you said earlier that I'm only one up in what they're doing. So if they're like refusing to leave, I think detaining, not arresting, because I mean that's going a little far.
Yep, perfect. And you're a security officer. Arresting is what the LSSD does. So you detain them, you let them know that they're not free to leave. Okay,
And
but
then what I call the LSSD after that.
yes. And that's just what we're getting into de escalation skills, just to see where your head is at. So let's say this person was being belligerent and they didn't excuse themselves to the mailboxes. They were still standing at that desk, going back and forth in a shouting match with Athena. They haven't gotten into any threats yet. How would you de escalate the situation?
Well, if they haven't gotten into any threats yet, I mean, I suppose I would detain them. But I mean, if they put their hands on her, like I mean, I always got to one up them, just like you said. But screaming match, it's just gonna result in me getting in their face,
Yeah, see, that's why
getting
we want to
between.
work on de escalation tactics, because the first thing we don't want to do is treat someone like a criminal. We don't want to go to like the highest level of force. So if somebody is sitting there screaming at Athena, the best thing you could probably do is try to like talk to that person, try to pull them aside, separate them from Athena. So that way there's no chance that the situation escalates to violence because you've separated them to neutral corners. So that way that person can start cooling down. And then maybe since you're a neutral third party, you could try to explain reasoning to them. So what seems to be the problem? Why are you shouting at Athena? Is there anything that I can help you with? Like try to explain reasoning to them and explain to them why you're doing that, like why you can't get in the chief of staff's face, why this is not okay. Keep them calm, get them level-headed, explain the rules, and if they can come back civilly, and they haven't disrespected anyone to the point where they're, Athena doesn't want to work with them anymore, maybe we can try to get this meeting back on track and get them the help that they need so they can leave the building.
Alrighty, so de-escalate first, always, and if they
Yes.
won't listen,
Yes.
that's when I go a step further.
Yes, if they will not listen to reason, you've explained the rules, you're trying to get them to calm down, but they're still shouting. Now they're calling Athena derogatory names outside of her name. That's when you just need to ask that person to leave. So you don't go to detain. You're going to say, I'm going to ask you to leave the building. If they're still standing there and they refuse to leave, this is like their second warning. I'm asking you to leave the building. You threaten them with trespassing if they don't leave. So then if they still don't want to leave, now you let them know they're being detained and you call 911 to let them know this individual has been trespassed, they're refusing to leave, and you'd like to file a formal report with the police department.
Alrighty.
I feel you'll have a much easier time learning this because now that we have our head of security back, like he's very well trained in this. I've picked a lot of this up from the meetings of how a security officer is supposed to act. So I can give you the basic guidelines to get you in the proper mindset of what to expect when you're on the job. But Alec will be here to help train you. Because that's the thing. When you're on this probationary period, there won't be a time where you clock in, and there will not be a senior here to answer any questions for you or help guide you along this probationary period.
So I just need to act accordingly.
Mm-hmm. And when in doubt,
Okay.
you're always free to ask me, Athena, or Alec.
Well, okay then.
Okay, so now I want to ask you some questions. How are you with confidentiality? Because this is a government building. So sometimes you can be escorting some sorry, some very important, like high ranking government officials, and you may need to take them into a meeting, you may need to stand guard at the meeting. So if you come across information that you are only privy to on your job, how are you with confidentiality?
I mean, if it's confidential, I'm not supposed to share it.
Yeah, because it's not a rumor, it's not gossip.
That's not like that's outside of work. That'd be a different story. But since I'm on the job, and I mean, I'm not allowed to spread anything like that. It's their fault for telling me in the first place.
No,
But
they wouldn't tell you, but you'd be on guard. So let's say we were having a meeting in here, and you were standing on guard over there by the exit gate. So you are privy to the conversation as you are doing your job. Do you think it's okay to share that information once you leave the room?
no, no, absolutely not. That's the reason we have this in a separate room.
Yes. Because government officials and people who come here to City Hall for help or they're going into a meeting, they're here because they believe that their information is confidential. They're bringing it to the government. They're not sharing it in a public forum like town hall. Okay, so that's confidentiality. We went over frisking, detainment. Athena, do you have any questions?
So let's say that you have a friend and you're frisking them, and all of a sudden you feel something in their pocket. And then you ask them if they have anything on them that shouldn't be coming into the building. And they say, well, I promise I won't take it out. Can you let me in? What would you tell them to do?
I would tell them to. I would ask them to let me either have it or go put it in their car or something because they can't bring it in here. And if they refuse, then I'd ask them to leave.
Okay, but with that, so if you ever find something on somebody and they really want to get into the building and they ask you to hold it for them, that now makes you liable for whatever you hold. So the number one go-to is always to tell them, no, I'm not responsible for holding anything. You have to leave and go put it back in your car.
Okay, that's another thing I learned.
It's always best to tell them to go put it back in their car because then you have no responsibility for it. If the item comes up lost or stolen, you're not liable.
All right, I have another question. We have a lot of government employees that go in and out of the building. Some you may know, some you may not. If you have one that say we're having a city council meeting and someone says, "Hey, I work here," and you're unsure of whether or not they work here, what would you do in that situation? Would you let them pass, or how would you handle it?
Well, if I'm unsure, I think I would have to ask around. Like if somebody else is around, I'd ask them, or and if they aren't there or they're not aware, I mean, I can't afford to let anybody just waltz on up in here, so I'm gonna have to unfortunately tell them no.
And just out of curiosity, you said you would ask someone. Who would you ask specifically?
My higher ups, so Alec, you, and Athena,
Okay.
maybe the chief of justice as well.
Any more, Athena?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, so I want to give you a scenario, Cleetus. You are at the front door. It is only you on duty, and you notice two masked individuals get out of their car and they have guns in their hands. They start walking toward the front door of City Hall. What do you do?
If they have guns in their hands, I mean, I assume that they're gonna use them, but they're not they're not exactly. I mean, they're posing a threat when they have guns and masks on. So I mean, unfortunately, I think I'd have to shout at them if they don't listen. Maybe use lethal force because that's a no-no.
Yeah, so like walk me through how you would respond exactly in this situation. It's just you on duty, you have City Hall personnel in the building, and these guys are they're walking toward the front door.
With guns in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I assume I'd have to use lethal force.
So you'd walk out of the building? Would you still be in the building at your post? Would you start shooting from your post? Like, walk me through how you would do this.
So you said I'm standing outside of the building or inside the building?
You'd be standing exactly like where Alex stands. Either side of the front desk, that's your post.
Oh no, I would walk outside first
Okay.
because I don't feel comfortable firing a firearm inside of this building. Plus, I don't think that's legal. So
Okay, so you're outside of the building. What are you doing next? Are you firing immediately? Or is it verbal command?
I'm gonna verbal command first, and if they don't listen, I would have to shoot them.
Okay, so the only thing I would say do differently in this scenario is you walked outside. You didn't let anyone behind the desk know what's going on. Like if we were doing paperwork, we didn't notice the individuals. You walked outside. We don't notice what's going on until the gunshots are flying. And God forbid they take you down, and now they're rushing the building, and we're still behind the desk. you didn't make sure that the people in the building were safe. They weren't informed.
Right, right. I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah, that's very important because you're here to make sure that we're safe. Okay, so we can try another scenario. You we come on shift for the day, and sometime over the course of your shift, we notice that there's a package that's left outside on the front steps. It's just got a note that says, "Open me," and you can hear a faint ticking noise. Walk me through step by step how you would handle this situation.
I would let someone know first before I do anything else, and then I would, since I'm security, I would let them know that I would take care of it and make sure it does not enter the premises. Make sure it does not, or like make sure it is not anywhere near the premises. So I'd walk off with it. Of course, I'm telling anybody close by, telling them, and I'll call the LSSD.
Okay, so like the order of events is a little scattered, but I think for the most part you got the gist of what you should do. So once you notice the package, you inform someone, you make sure that they do not exit the building, because that's the last thing you want, because you hear a ticking noise. You don't know what's inside there. Is it an alarm clock? Is it a bomb? So they need to understand the possible danger and not leave the building. Then your next step, either you're informing LSSD or you're telling someone, go make a call to LSSD, we have a possible bomb on the premises.
Alrighty, yeah, because I mean I don't know nothing about no bombs, so
Yeah, so would you be inspecting the package or would you be relocating personnel to a safe location until reinforcement arrives?
I'd be relocating the personnel, but I would need to get the bomb or whatever it is away from them first.
So you would move the package.
Well, I guess I would have to move you first because I don't know what's in there, and if I touch it, would it go off? I have no clue. So I'd have to move you to somewhere safe.
Yes, so you want to try to minimize casualties as much as you can. So it would probably even be recommended you don't touch it. Because who knows, the second you pick it up, it could detonate. You don't know what it is. You don't know who left it there. You don't know what's inside.
Right.
Right? Anything else, Athena?
Can't think of anything to ask at the moment.
That's fair. So she asked, do you have any questions, Cleetus?
Oh, sorry. The rain is pretty loud. Um, no, I do not.
Okay. Not even about pay, hours, that's something. What would your hours of availability be?
I'm usually so I go off Eastern time just because that's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, usually later on Eastern time.
Do you have a time like 7 p.m., so like right after the 7 p.m. Eastern storm, or just like a little bubble that we can know to expect you? So it's like we wouldn't expect you at like 10 a.m.
Maybe not 10 a.m. I mean, I'm kind of around. Uh, I'm kind of around whenever, but most of the time, if you're for sure when you're gonna see me, it's later, so right after the 7 p.m. storm, like 8 o'clock. or 9 o'clock typically
Until when?
until about uh, 2, 3 in the morning.
And how many days a week?
I can start off at 2 or 3 or however many you need me, really.
Okay, so if you needed to have a day off, would Friday be one of those days? Because that's our designated town hall day. That's the main day that we would say we need security on duty, checking people that come through this building.
Oh, I can absolutely do Friday, yeah.
Fridays are good.
Of course, when I'm not out of town.
You see, that's what we're trying to assess, like how frequent that is. So,
But I mean, like, I'm gonna be out of town for about the rest of the week.
oh no, that's fine. But we mean like after that. So, normally, how many days do you think that you can give to this job? 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 5 days a week?
I think I could give 3.
Okay, and outside of this job, how many other jobs do you work?
I have 2 others.
And do you see any potential conflict between this job and those jobs?
Well, due to the gas leaks, I'm not really working at Burger Shot right now, and nobody's really at the lantern that much, so not really.
No, I mean like picture it's regular operations, not gas leaks about a month ago. Do you see any like potential conflicts if you were to work this job, Burger Shot and the Lantern?
No, not really. I mean, I pretty much choose my own hours over there. I know I got to be here on Friday and 2 other days out of the week. I'm gonna make sure I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, and you do have a clock-in card, so during your probationary period, just let you know, like we'll be looking at it and actively checking the hours to see if you are making your quotas. Like the most basic quota is 5 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I think that's everything. If you'll give Athena and I a minute to discuss, we'll come back in and we'll let you know.
Of course. And am I allowed to eat in here?
Oh yeah,
You
please.
are.
Okay, cool. Because I'm starving.
And part of working at City Hall, one of us usually goes out and fills the break room, so staff lunches are supplied.
Oh, that's amazing.
Be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think with some good training from Alex, that they'd be good, really good, because I think they would catch on and do a good job. But
Yes.
they're definitely going to need training.
Very new. I see. As opposed with Robert, I feel like Cleetus should not be on unless he does have a senior security officer. He has like no previous security experience, not even local security experience. So he would really benefit from having hands-on training.
Yeah, I think he needs to have training, and I don't think he needs to be on duty unless Alec is here.
Okay.
That way, Alec can help him out, guide him, train him.
Yeah, because I was answering a lot of those guideline questions, and I'm just like, I don't know the department. This is just what I picked up from conducting interviews. So if he's unaware of a lot of the baseline ones, he could run into a lot of issues his probationary week, and yeah, he would just really benefit from having hands-on training with Alec. Like he could get the most out of it as opposed to just rushing him through that week. Okay, we have full-fledged security, and we're basically throwing him into the deep end.
And I think while he's doing that 5 hour probationary period, that should be his training time, so that way he can get that time in and be properly trained.
Oh no, it goes by how long it takes him to fulfill the 7 days. So if he works 3 days
I
this week
got
and 3 days next week, then we'd expect 5 hours out of him for the week, and that counts toward his whole his 7 days as a toll.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So if he wanted to like rush through and get all 7 days done in the 1 week, he can do that. If he wants to split it up 2 days a week, he can do that as long as he's hitting those basic 5 hour quotas. So no like
Yeah.
1 hour, 3 hour shifts. Like you have to hit the quotas.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so we'll let him know. It's looking promising. See him in a week with his first aid certification. But at this time, he is a security fellow, and he's to only clock on when the head of security is here to train him.
All right, I agree with that.
Okay. Hi again.
Hello again.
Okay, so after discussing it, we're fully comfortable hiring you on as a security fellow, but you do need a lot of hands on training. You haven't had any prior experience or any local experience, so it would be best if you clocked on shift when our head of security is here to give you that hands on training that you'll need. Because we would rather you not just rush through your probationary, you're standing here, you're not being trained, you make it past the 7 days, but then we're essentially throwing you into the deep end because you haven't had any proper training as a security guard. We would want this probationary period to be as beneficial as possible with you learning the actual tools that you'll need to perform this job efficiently.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about Alec. Alec is here like all the time. I don't know if he sleeps.
Yeah, he's also run into him when he's working during the day too. So
Yeah. So finding a shift that you can work with Alec, that won't even be a problem. We just want you to get the most out of the probationary one. So at the end of the 7 days, after having proper training, you can assess, yeah, I want to go on with the full onboarding. I want to be fingerprinted, photographed, and I want to be hired on as full on LSSA security. But you can only make that decision like if you've been properly trained and, you know, you had hands on guidance.
well, yeah. I mean, sounds good to me.
Okay.
And so if I do have a question now, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say nobody else is in the building. Am I allowed to work when nobody else is in the building?
No, not during this probationary period. So
Oh,
you work
well,
when Alec is here.
okay, yeah. I meant like when I'm fully hired on. It's essentially.
Yes, it would be your job to protect the building. So even if no one's here, you're still here because we leave those doors unlocked so the public has access. But you never know. Like I gave you the example with the package. If nobody's here protecting the building, what if one day we come in to work and we go to the bathroom to like freshen up before our shift and that package is in the bathroom because there was nobody here?
Yeah. I see what you mean now. Okay. Well, I just that was the only real question I had.
Yeah. And your job does extend outside the building, so once you do get fully hired on, you'll have the flexibility to guard grounds such as Pillbox, the university if we can get that up and running, the lifeguards. So you will have locations that you can be sent out to with Alex's clearance.
Alrighty.
Right, so I guess after your 1 week break and you get that certification, we'll see you back here for your onboarding, for your probationary week.
Absolutely. Yeah. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll be happy to have you part of the team.
I'm so happy you're choosing to move forward with me.
Congratulations and welcome to City Hall.
Thank you. And I'm not usually one to dress fancy, but I'm assuming I need to if I'm working here.
Either suits or like you see Alex in his button-up shirt and his slacks.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that works.
Yep. So once you come back for your probationary period, you'll get the onboarding materials. So you'll get the handbook, the basic guidelines, a flashlight, a camera, so that because you're also going to be responsible for incident reports and documenting. So like if you do see that package outside, you document the time, where you found it, the LSSD officer that responded. So note taking is also part of the job.
Okay. Note taking. Okay. I'll keep a notebook handy then.
Oh no, you'll get one. So it'll have the basic guidelines and then the rest of those pages. So we'll have the first notebook supplied for you with your onboarding materials.
Alrighty.
I thought I just saw someone come. I'm gonna go check.
Okay. But yeah, we can head out to Cleetus.
Alrighty. You don't understand how excited I am.
No, we are too. Because we get people that are interested in security, but I guess schedules change. They never last more than a month. So getting new security personnel flowing in always feels great. 'Cause I remember my first month here, this place was like packed with lawyers, security, city hall personnel.
Alrighty. Did she say she saw somebody walk in here?
Yeah, so I think she's gonna go check the right wing to see if maybe they wandered down the hall, because we came out the left wing, so they couldn't have been over there.
Yeah, okay.
Find anyone?
No, but I thought I saw someone come in the door. I must be really tired and probably need to go home and go to bed.
Well, thank you for coming in tonight to help with Cleetus.
Oh, you're welcome. And congratulations again, Cleetus. We're glad to have you here at City Hall.
Yeah,
Well,
congrats.
thank you.
I can't wait for your first shift. You're gonna learn
can't
so
wait
much
either,
from
man.
Alec.
Yeah. I mean, me and him went hunting the other day, man. We had a ball. I got to know him pretty well, so that's not gonna be a problem.
Awesome.
Yeah, hunting's pretty fun. Me and my husband enjoy it. Well, you all have a good night. I'm going to go home and go to bed because I'm pretty tired. If you need me for anything, just let me know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Sal might want his certificate meeting over the weekend, so whatever time works for you.
I can be available anytime this weekend.
Okay, so
Just
maybe
let
probably
me
after
know.
7. Got it.
Oh wait,
I'll write you.
I'm gonna have to work with Sal, aren't I? If he's gonna be here.
No, Sal's coming here for a meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he'd be a guest in the building. The current active security personnel we have are Alec Hope and Robert Danson.
Robert Danson. Okay. I don't think I've met that feller yet.
He worked at Tequila Law Security there as well. He always wears like a cowboy hat and a duffel bag, glasses. I think he worked at Burger Shot too.
Wow. I don't know how I've missed this feller then.
Yeah, he's been around. He hasn't been around in like the past week or two though, so I'm worried he might be sick or an LOA. So that could be why.
Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna get out of your hair, see if I can't take care of some more business.
Alright. You have a good night, Cleetus.
You as well.
Alright, so now we can update this roster.